Hello, good afternoon, and thank you for coming. So today we have two guests here, our distinguished guests. I'll introduce them later. And we are going to talk about the new age of creative arts in Africa. So currently, the African continent, 60% of the population are under 25 years, according to the recent UN forecast. Africa's population is expected to double from 1 billion to nearly 2.4 billion inhabitants by 2050. Most importantly, half of that population will be less than 25 years, which raises the urgent question of whether its economy has the capacity to absorb the millions of new arrivals that will soon flood its job market. The current economy has been recognized, the creative economy has been recognized now as a sustainable tool for development, with the creative sector producing value beyond the individual deal. And as developing nations generate and sell a wide range of variety of creative products, they contribute to their nation's GDP, export, and growth, ultimately boosting outcomes according to the United Nations Conference on the Trade and Development. Given the scope of the informal economy in Africa, this potential has development opportunities which is significant, including youth employment. Therefore, we'll spend the next 30 minutes discussing with our guests the current state of creative art sector in Africa, what the challenges are, how we can navigate such challenges, and where we see the bright spot to effectively deliver the opportunities for the youth in Africa. So for our guest today, we have Sarkodie, who is a multiple award-winning artist with Success Music. Michael Owusu-Addo, as he's popularly known, is a famous multiple award-winning rapper, songwriter, recording artist, stage performer, entrepreneur, and philanthropist. As a trend-setting and inventive rapper, Sarkodie began his distinguished career as an underdog rapper, making regular appearances on radio competition known as Kasahari in the Tree language in Ghana. It was through these rap battles that he became recognized as the fastest rapper in Ghana. Sarkodie has so far recorded 6 studio albums and an extended play. Sarkodie was announced the first winner of BET International Flow Artist at the 2019 BET Hip Hop Awards. He had earlier won the Best International Act African category at the 2012 BET Awards. He's also considered one of the foremost proponents of the Azonto genre and dance, and one of the most successful African rapper of all time. We also have here KJ Spio, who's an artist manager. KJ is a leading artist manager and a label executive who gained international success with artists across the globe, such as Cadet, Big Nasty, Sarkodie, Efia, Black Jay-Z. KJ's strategic mindset has seen him nurture talents and build their global presence within the music, TV, sports, and entertainment spaces. A creative in the truest sense, KJ has led the creative direction, Seek virtual concert series, executive production, AR and Sarkodie's new album, No Pressure. Utilizing his experience in the music industry, KJ has led the developing label services and consultancy to support the next generation of creative artists. KJ has gone on to manage UK artists such as Cadet, who went on to sell millions of records and also gain UK's chart position with his single hit Advice. KJ's resilience and passion and drives him to continually break the ceilings and take talents and brands to new heights. So we will start our conversation with Sarkodie and KJ. So Sarkodie and KJ, welcome to the Science Business School.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So we'll just dive straight into what we're going to discuss. So to start with, I would like to ask your opinion on how would you describe the current state of the creative art industry in Africa, and what indicators have you observed that will give credibility to this statement?
I don't think I can skip your intro though. That's a lot of awards for. I lost counts. Yeah, but definitely yes. Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here. As soon as I heard it, I didn't even think twice. I said to myself, it's a must that I come. Conversations worth having, especially because that's the sector that I'm in, the creative arts. And when it has to do with Africa, as you said, if you ask me the States, I think we definitely have a lot as in the creative arts itself, talking about the talent, talking about the product of it. What I can say is that there's a lot of untapped opportunities, which is still sitting. So what we go by is normally things happening organically, which is good, but there's always a plan to be able to sustain something happening. Like my whole career can be an example. I came in as somebody who loved music, didn't have no plan to necessarily be consistent or take it to the next level or win the BET or do whatever. So the initial stage was having the love for music and not necessarily having a plan for it. So that can get you into the industry, but then how you move on from there, that's when the structures comes in. So if, in a nutshell, what I can say about the industry, as in the creative art industry, that is how it looks at this point. I think it's still at the organic stage where we need structures to take it to the next level. So in a nutshell, that's what I really can say at this point when I look at the creative arts. I think it's still in that fresh stage where it's still untapped. And I think it's going to take a lot to position it to be able to be very super effective in Africa.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Are you going to add anything, KJ?
Yeah, similar. I think it's in the kind of like a discovery stage where a lot of foreigners, a lot of people are discovering the art form. So it would take a lot of structures and continuously building it, and a lot of support, and even the platform itself is a way to amplify what they're doing. So.
Okay, so then that dovetails into my next question. So when we look at the market system approach, you just said that it's still in the first stage, the development stage. What characteristics of the creative arts market in Africa that you've observed, and where do you see the most potential to effectively integrate the upcoming youth into the industry?
I think, firstly, as far as people in the industry itself, it's by, showing, especially youth, people wanting to get in the industry, that there are so many different areas and so many different elements of the music industry that they can get involved. It's not only, being an artist or being a manager, but there's so many different areas, from engineers to producers to marketers, there's so many areas. So I think it would be good to educate people about the industry and show them all the various areas that people, especially youth people, can get in, and that will help grow the industry itself. Because the more opportunity or the more you have within the industry, the more it grows.
When you say creative arts, the first thing that comes to mind is the youth, because that's where you have new talent, whether being, I'm an artist, so sorry, I speak about music a lot, so it's not really about music conversation, it's creative arts. When I talk about creative arts in Ghana, I tend to have a lot of backlash from other creatives because I'm all zoned into music. It has a lot to do with painting, whatever. I think you guys have an idea what it is, but yes, I think it's for the youth mainly. I'm not saying it's limited to them, but mainly there's a lot of people that grow up that discover their talent, and it's for the young people. If I use my industry because I'm more zoomed in into it, so I know the ins and out, that's why we tend to talk about music. There is a lot around it, the ecosystem around it. Aside just being an artist, which to me I call us the product. Someone like KJ doesn't necessarily have to sing, but he's part of the creative industry, and that's how you can bring a lot of people into it. So they don't have to have a talent to be able to sing or paint. There's a lot that has to go with the business itself. Jay here obviously has no sign of trying to rap. He can't do it.
Not yet.
No, you can't. I know you. There's no way you can do it. But what he knows is to be able to look at me as Sarkodie and look at what I'm doing and see how he can make business out of it, connect me to the right things, merge worlds together, because there's a big disconnect with the corporate world especially and the entertainment world. But funny enough, what the corporate world needs is what the creative industry has already. I talk to the people directly. The conversations we are having here, I'm sorry to you guys, but when you guys are very serious having a conversation, sometimes the rest of the world miss out because of the presentation. When you have Sarkodie sitting here, then you have a lot of the masses who will listen to me, so that collaboration is what has been missing. So sometimes when we have people like you in the industry, you find ways and means, and that's what Jay does. And a lot of people that, we have Angel right there, he does the same thing. We have DJ Mensa. So you don't necessarily have to be the product, that's the artist. So that's when you can have a lot of young people coming in to do different stuff, actually looking at it from your point and see, what can I do with these creatives or the creative industry, what can I do in it? And sometimes that's also a talent. I can see Jay having the talent of being able to spot the right people to work with, because everybody he's touched made magic. So I think it opens up a little bit more than just trying to learn how to sing or to rap. You can actually make a good living out of it and create, I think we will get to that, but we can speak a little bit about it. So the product itself and how to monetize it, that's also like an open market where people can come in to also invest in that side or work for that side. So it's like, honestly, that's one of the biggest industry that the youth, if you give the chance to all the youth, I'm sorry, but everybody would like to go and join that because it's actually fun still doing it, you know. So yes, obviously that's like a big opportunity for the young people.
Oh, that's good. So you talked about the gap and how we catch that. You know, we have the African act and we have the Western act. Do you see differences in the way we give our arts, we produce our art, or you just see difference in the way we market our stuff? Where do you see the differences between the African creative art and the Western creative art?
I think culturally it's a bit different, right? Because Africans are naturally very conservative and our approach is very kind of minimalistic, more organic, as opposed to if you take like an American artist, straight out the gate, the budget is
Ready.
2 houses, you know, to move a record. So that's the difference. But as far as presentation and music wise, there isn't much difference. It's just a matter of time for that level of exposure to happen. So that's how I say it. So there's not much different, but it's just a cultural difference.
Yes, and also what I can say back to when we started, I think out here, the good part is, I might be wrong because I'm not here, but what I see from outside is, I think it's being tapped into, the industry is being tapped into. So there's been structures that when you get in, you know, you're rest assured, this is how you're gonna, it's, at the end of the day, it's entertainment for me, but I realize it's my profession. I need to make money out of it. So there is structures here built that you can monetize whatever you're doing. So when I'm releasing records, because I tapped into my connects here in the UK or the States, I have a different state of mind. I'm thinking about signing up to these companies to take my money for me and all of these things. But you know, back home we are getting there. So the approach has been different. A typical example is way back when I used to release my records, we used to put it out on a lot of free sites because that is where the masses go to get the music. And it's not because they don't have the access to go on a paid platform. We just haven't made such things available to them. So that's what they're used to. So then I had to introduce people going on paid platforms, which is normally from the West. And then it takes a lot of struggle for them to get on there. You need Visa cards. Not all of the people are using Visa cards. So then what happened to me was it slowed the pace of the music because now you're holding people from getting it instantly. They have to go sign up on something. So that's the difference. So in Africa, you could lose a lot of money, but then you gain popularity. While out here, you make money while you get popular. So now we have those structures that has to be built, which is also a good opportunity because now it opens doors for people who have ideas to come in to be able to solve that. But that's basically, to me, that's how I see the difference.
Okay. So given the challenges that you said you just talked about, then you can also add more. As you said, with the creative arts in Africa, what reforms or policies do you think is necessary to mitigate some of these challenges you just spoke about?
I think the first and probably the most important thing I would say about having a system where artists can actually collect like royalties or being able to get paid, you know, performance rights. I think that would be a huge, because you need money to fund whatever you're doing. So I think that would be the biggest. I think we start with like the most important, and then other elements will come. But I think that's stuff that we consistently talk about. You know, like how we have a PRS here or different areas, having a performance rights society that can actually collect royalties for artists, you know, performance. Because the records are played on radio every day. Everywhere you go, you hear music everywhere. But the artists are not getting paid for it. So I think that's something that's very, very important. Like having that structure. And that's more business than creative, but that itself would allow, you know, people who get into the industry having the funding would be, you know, the thing with music is if there's no money coming in, after a while you stop, you know. So that I think, and that also an incentive for different people to get into it. So I think that to me is like topmost priority with that.
What do you think?
No, you said it all. Yeah.
All right. So if I get it right, it's about creating the structures to make it sustainable.
Yeah.
So that even when the artist is not singing anymore, those royalties is gonna keep them coming.
Exactly.
Because I think now currently Michael Jackson is still earning
Yes.
from his music, even though he's still not alive.
Exactly.
All right. And given what you just talked about, the structures and everything, you know, Africa signed the African Continental Free Trade Agreement after to try and create a free market for Africa. Did those policies in the AFTA, did they meet your expectations, or what were you expecting to see? Or what would you like to see in that free trade agreement to open up the continent to creative arts? So be it from Ghana, Nigeria, or South Africa, the whole continent of about 1.2 billion people are open up to them. What policy do you see that AFTA playing?
I think definitely it's a great step, and it's a win, because anything that would enhance or allow people to trade, it's a win. So for me, it's a start, and we build on it. So it's good.
Yeah.
All right, that's good. And 2 years ago, the whole world was reeling from this pandemic, COVID-19, and Africa had its fair share. Yeah. And what we also did was the introduction of, seeing many instances, the virtual concerts that was being done by these creative arts players. Now COVID seems to be going away. So what was your assessment of the virtual concert that was done during the COVID period? And going forward, do you see virtual concert playing a major role in the creative arts?
100%. Because virtual concerts, I think, are here to stay, and they're getting more and more. The difference with a virtual concert versus like a concert with people would be, there is the reimagination of the records. When you listen to your favorite song, you watch the music video comes along with it. It gives you like a visual representation of what the records are. But with a virtual concert, you can reimagine the same experience. Whereby a concert, there's a lot of limitations. When you're at a concert, you're on the stage, you move about. But with a virtual concert, you saw his, right? Yeah. He's standing on top of the
Black Star Square.
Black Star Square, flying helicopter. So it's a whole reimagination. So that's the beauty of virtual concerts. And it's getting more and more. It's getting more creative. It's more innovative. The last one we're going to do in Dubai as well. So there's a lot of, and it gets more. And I see a lot of other people doing, amazing, really huge production virtual concert. So yeah, it gets better, and it grows and it continues.
As dark as the COVID time was, it's quite funny that I have to say thank you to the time for birthing virtual concert. I respected my job during COVID. One, obviously, for us not being able to have live shows was like, personally, it wasn't too much of a blow to me, because personally, I don't normally do shows that much. I choose like 4 or 5 shows I do in a year. So it wasn't like I felt like I was missing out that much. But I knew a lot of artists were, that's their livelihood. But one thing I realized was almost everybody was listening to music during that time. So as we're in a dark time, I was taking you guys money for no reason. Because you guys had to enjoy yourself. You have to go on YouTube and spend time. So the streams were going up, That told me that means the fact that even working is a positive thing, sometimes it goes against me, because I lose money when you guys are working. So when you guys stay home, they try to have fun. So that was the positive side, but definitely birthed a virtual concert. We made magic out of it. As he said, what we did, if COVID didn't come, I wouldn't think about standing on top of the Black Star Square. That's like a very risky thing to do. Like, to stand there and look down there, but then when the shot came, that looked dope. And then that was very creative. We were able to do something epic. And also, it doesn't limit you from just performing to your Ghanaian fans. People in wherever they were able to tune in. I think we crushed the app. Big shouts to Seek. It was over 3 million hits. Yeah. And the fact that they missed watching people perform live just gave it a new vibe. So, and we're still continuing. Now we can even do shows, but I'm still stuck on doing virtual concert. I've loved the fact that, and for me personally, because virtual concerts, sometimes you shoot before you go live, so you have the luxury of getting things right, making things look. And guys, this is exclusive for you. I have a new one coming. I performed on a desert. So I was in Dubai in the middle of nowhere, and I have a band set on a desert. You wouldn't do this if there's no COVID coming in.
Exactly.
So honestly, yes, that's the good side. I think it has to stay aside COVID, because it still makes sense. If I'm performing in Ghana, you're not seeing me in London. So if I'm doing a virtual concert, the world can watch. So I think that's one good thing we got out of that situation. Yes.
Oh, okay. I mean, so taking from what you're saying, that means the COVID gave birth to this buzz in the media of technology and breaking new grounds in the business. So then my question to you is, how do you see technology effect in the creative art industry going forward?
I think it's has been probably one of the most significant changes, even from how we record music, from recording on tape, on DATs to now everything is digital. We're able to set up easily. We can literally set up here and record. Whereas before it was different. And now with streaming platforms, you put your record out, the whole world, everyone can hear it. With social media, everything is worldwide. And it continues to be very innovative with technology. So I think, especially in Africa as well, it has really helped a lot of people from different places kind of reach the continent because of technology. So I think it has been very useful, and it will continue to really play a huge part.
All right. And so to go on that tangent again, which are some of the tech tools that your team have identified and you are using to help improve the creative art in Africa and also as Team SAC?
So for us, we do a lot of analytics, studying the data as far as even like algorithms, how people listen to our music, where they listen to it, and how the listening patterns are. So for us, it's about collecting data and then sharing with others. So for instance, if we have a new artist coming in or someone that's interested in, working with us or doing his own thing, those are the type of tools that we introduce them to, about how to collect data and how to use it, know where your fan base are, where people are listening to you. And that affects even touring. When it's time to go on tour, that I have 100,000 people listening to me in Sydney. I have 2 people listening to me in Austria. So you plan different things. Even when you do your marketing spend or your ad campaigns, you focus on where you have more audiences. And so that's how we run it. Yeah.
Okay. And but how do you see the African creative art industry positioned to take advantage of all this? You are doing analytics, studying all this data, which is very high level, which is really good. But how do you see the creative art as a whole in Africa taking advantage of all these opportunities?
I think the most important thing is educating them and letting them know the resources that's available. Because a lot of technological things that can help, new artists, they're not aware of it, and they don't know how it works, or they're not aware of it. So I think the most important thing is, making them aware of those, making them aware of the technology that's available, and continue to share it. And a lot of times as well, people would see others do it, and then they would take from it. So by seeing different things happening, others will follow as well, or would give them the chance for them to think and take it into something else. So I think that's the most important thing: educating them on what's available.
Okay, you just mentioned that sometimes you see others doing it and you also follow. So who are some of the tech savvy creatives that you've seen in the industry, whether Africa or globally, and what you admire by what you're doing in that space?
Okay, I think for me, I'm a very big on gaming. Like I don't know how much people are into gaming. Any gamers here?
Everybody's.
Okay, good man, good man. So Fortnite.
Yeah.
For instance, they use a lot of dancing. They did some stuff with Travis Scott. They incorporate a lot of music into it. So for me, I kind of pick ideas from the gaming world, and that's what we implemented on that side.
I mean, so it seems to me that you're probably trying to get yourself in the metaverse world, because that's what the world.
Yeah.
Because it looks like the world is going virtual, and I know JP Morgan just opened a launch.
Yeah.
In the game, so
exactly.
That's really good. Oh, that's nice. That's interesting. And so let's come to Sarkodie and Seek. Can you, as Sarkodie, as an artist, share more about your partnership with the technology company Seek and how that has impacted your career so far?
Yes, definitely that platform came at the right time. They introduced the whole virtual idea to me, and I was sold. As soon as I had a conversation with them and what it stood for. And I had a funny thing I told them. I said I think they had an idea that COVID was coming, and then they built the platform for it, because everything about it was just right timing when the pandemic hit, because everything has to go virtual. So they definitely introduced me on that path. And that got me to be a bit innovative, and now I've been stuck with them. The new one I'm releasing is still with Seek. They have a lot of artists on there now. They did some of the virtual concerts in Tanzania. They had some of the biggest artists from Diamond Platinum to Harmonize. Myself, now I'm bringing all the Ghanaians on there. So yeah, definitely that's been like, and it's gone beyond just the virtual concert. They come in to support projects in general. So they're part, to me at this point, I think we are family. That's how the relationship is with them.
Okay. And you did mention that during the COVID, everybody was at home. We're all streaming. When you look at the patterns right now, things are beginning to open up. So probably the streaming is going to go down. What will be the strategy going forward? Because you're going to have a lot of visual events. Yeah. But how are you going to make sure you're targeting these guys who are now not going to be in their homes, but going to be out watching these things?
Funny enough, as things opened up, the streamings are up. And I think it's just natural. Like, the more people do, the more happier, the more active you are, the more you listen to music or you watch your favorite TV shows or those things. But I think from, moving forward is by continuously being innovative. Mm-hmm. Like the virtual concerts was very innovative, but we continue. Be innovative, be creative, and never be afraid to try something new. Don't focus too much on what's working or how good this is going to work, but be innovative. And I think that's the way to stay ahead of the curve.
All right. And I also have to look at that. You sign up with Sony, publishing music in the UK. So how is that working? So you've got Seek and you've got Sony. Can you throw more light on that, how that works?
I like the fact that you have no idea how my industry works. I like it. So he's gonna come in, but just on a lighter note, the two entities are totally different. So Seek obviously is just based on what I want to do with them. Signing up with Sony is definitely a partnership beyond just what you want to do. There are things that you need as a backend to be able to get your money back. And this is going back to what I think Africa has to take advantage of. We have to take advantage of. Obviously, we are working on stuff like that for Africa. But yes, if you want to be able to collect your money, and that's the only way sometimes I don't want to do shows, because you are sorted when you have somebody like Sony taking your music in your sleep. Because first we used to put out music, and that's what I mean by when I got exposed, then I realized, okay, so it's beyond just putting out music and people just being happy and that's it. You have to monetize that, even in your sleep. And that's what Sony does for me. So Seek is a bit different. If I want to be creative, I want to get into my whole artist vibe and I have an idea, I want to perform in the desert, they come in. Sony is not necessarily going to be listening to my crazy ideas. That's not what they care about. They want to just put the music out and we find the money for you. So that's it. That's the difference,
And I think a word that's heavily used in the music industry is exploitation. That's like the biggest thing. Like once a record is made, you want to exploit the record as much as possible. So Sony Publishing, what it does is making sure in the space of exploiting the music, be it on TV, on film, on commercials, and that's being played in venues, that's the main thing. And then collecting for you on the side of your performance rights. And also introducing you to different audiences as far as writing and performance. And performance, not in the sense of visual performance in the sense of recording and producers and those type of elements. And then Seek is more of a platform similar to maybe a Netflix for music.
Okay.
So that's the main difference.
I mean, so it's obvious that this is a really good thing. But my question is, why would you say how high or how low is the barrier, the entry barrier? How high is it? Is it very difficult to get in, to do that, to sign up with Sony? Because obviously Sony is a very big company. And how easy it's for that? I'm a young artist in Africa. I've got so much talent, but I don't have that exposure to get Sony to probably do what I'm doing. How easy or difficult is it to get into that, to create the opportunity?
The politically correct answer would be the barrier is low, right? But in reality, it is, because it's like any organization, like in university, there's a lot of criteria. So outside of having talent and being able to do good music, you have to project and establish yourself as a business person, because they are doing business. So there's so much that you have to put in place for yourself before you get to that. So that's good.
Okay. That's good. So I'll probably ask my last question, then we'll throw it to the audience. So finally, where do you see the creative arts in Africa going in the future? As Sarkodie, you've been around since I remember 2008. You are still going. You are still on top. You don't want to release the crown. So, where do you see the future going when eventually you hand over?
What I always pray for, a couple years back, as much as I believed in Afrobeat, I didn't really know how we were going to be able to take over the world. But I think one thing that someone told me a couple years back, and then I realized that's the same way that Afrobeat invaded. We came in together. We didn't do it. Only Sarkodie trying to come in, or only Wiz trying to do it, or David, or R2B, Shatawale. We had to invade together and also see the essence of what we're doing. We have to have pride in what we're doing. We have to believe in what we're doing. What I see happening, I can only project that. I think the creative industry, to broaden it, not just music, all the sectors in there, I think with time, because sometimes I look at the narrative that we push, it would be way easier if we shoot a movie with it, to be able, like a big budget movie, put it on all platforms and tell your story. The pictures we take, as simple as we take not regular pictures. Like you go on a site, you want to book a hotel. How many people have experienced this? You see the room, you like it so much, you book it. As soon as you get there, you're like, what is this? Right? Yeah, it's because of how they took the pictures. And these things are people's talent. And then we have to see the worth in that. That's what I do. If you come on my page, you can be very sure that on my Instagram page, if it's not a good shot, I'm not going to post it. And I spend a lot of money on that, and it works because when people see that, they know you take your stuff serious. The reason why you like certain movies, aside the story, the shots play a major role. You might not even notice it from how you see it. So all these little bits, I think we have to really take it very essential, like very serious. You don't want to be looking so sweet and take a bad picture. So everything, every aspect of it has to be taken serious. Not just music. Music, I can talk about stuff. There are political situations where I got involved and then things actually got solved. When we talked about Doomsaw, they have no. We have some.
Doomsaw is when the lights go off and on in Ghana.
Okay.
Yes.
So I spoke through music. Definitely, it's still back. But then at that time, they kind of like, I put them in check a little bit because of the music. Same thing with movies. I think we really need to tap into that because we have seen that these things actually work. There's a lot of us who wanted to travel here, not because we read anything about the UK, but because I watched the movie and I saw something here and I thought this is all UK was about. So then I wanted to come. So I think that is how sometimes I think Africans, we should take the creative arts, every bit of it, whether it be music, tourism, everything. We really have to take everything very serious. I think actually the world is actually run on the creative arts. And that's the point where we need to get to be able to amplify it and use it as our tool. And if I say our tool, I will use the government because they are like the leaders, that's the dad and mom of the country. They have to use the creative arts to put our narrative out there so we can control our conversation.
All right.
Yeah.
Yep. I'll give you an example. There's a song, Lucky.
Yes.
So the video is shot in Ghana. Amazing video, great beaches.
You guys can check it out. Sarkodie, Lucky.
Yeah. And so many people, I know so many people that have told me, like, this is Ghana. They never knew that this
It was shot in Ghana. Even me, I didn't know the place.
Yeah. How beautiful the country is. So I think going forward, a lot of exposure through the music, through the visuals, and I think we human beings, we are very visual people. So the more visuals that they see of the place, the more they get involved. So I think going forward, it's more visual content and more to get, a lot of attraction to it.
All right, that's good. We've come to the end of this. You want to give your final words and you maybe give us someone else?
I think very happy to be here, and I hope that what we shared was informative enough and add a little bit of light into our African music industry and continue, these type of conversations and in our own small ways, because it always takes a person do the things that we feel that would help the next generation or would inspire someone else to, go further or do something else. So we'll continue to do that.
Yes, like you said, big thank you for having me. A great time. I thank God that I was in the era where my continent music took over the world. A lot of genres had their time. It's Afrobeat time, whether you like it or not. You have to be part of Afrobeat to be able to survive in this time that we are in. In the club, you are going to go out if they don't play Afrobeat. So, yes, I want to say thank you. It's a good opportunity. We have the numbers, we have the ears at this point. Coming on board, as much as it must sound like I don't want to sound like you're helping, because Afrobeat is actually the trend now. You come on board, you gain as well. So, and thank you guys for supporting us, because you people in the diaspora kept the name going. That's what you guys do, is what we benefit of. So thank you for everything you've done for African music. I appreciate it.